Hi everyone. Today I'm going to be going over one of my favorite features in ChargeOver called Dunning and Reminders. For some of you who don't know what Dunning and Reminders is, I can give you a quick overview. It essentially allows you to send automated reminders to customers at any time, but usually most people use this feature to send notices to customers once they are overdue. The usefulness of this feature lies in its ability to help provide some much needed support with any accounts receivable issues you might be running into. So, what do I mean by this? If you are someone who every month has a pile of overdue invoices, either due to declines or missed payment deadlines, you are most likely going into your ChargeOver account to do some damage control. This probably involves a lot of manual work where you are recharging every invoice, which I'm guessing is costing you a lot of wasted time, energy, and money. With Dunning and Reminders enabled, you can avoid having to do this anymore. You can use this feature to automatically retry payments so you can ensure your customers pay you and you get valuable time back. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to walk you through two different options you can use to set up your Dunning groups. One of these options is based off the subscriptions payment method, and the other is based off a subscription custom field. The first option is probably the most popular way to set up a Dunning group because it usually hits all of your overdue invoices and it's hard for people to be left out. Most people do charge with credit cards and ACH, and some customers even have subscriptions that do not have payment methods attached. So the subscription payment method would be an invoice if you're setting up a Dunning group for that. I'll show you guys our default settings in a little bit, and that'll show you kind of how those are set up. Relying on Dunning rules to trigger with the after invoice date option might not be great for customers if you have payment schedules set up. So instead, I'd recommend when you set up your Dunning rules that you choose after invoice due instead, which is going to give you this red overdue Dunning rule here. If we're looking at the subscription custom field group, this group is essentially just showing you that Dunning groups can be customized a little bit more. So if you're looking for a more complex setup or a more specific setup, you might want to do something like this. Just going over a recommended way to set up your Dunning rules, which are these little boxes here beneath the Dunning group name. A lot of people usually send about 3 reminders to the customers, or they try to recharge their card 2 to 3 times. So the first rules that I have set up are 1 to 3 days after the invoice is overdue. One is charging 100% of the payment, and one is only sending an email that the invoice is past due to the customer. The second reminder is sending out 7 to 10 days after the invoice is overdue. The third reminder is giving a final notice. And then lastly, the subscription is either being canceled or suspended. And when it says notify the customer, it means that the customer is getting an email sent telling them that their account has been canceled or suspended. You don't have to do that. These are just kind of recommended options here for you guys. All right, so now that I've kind of gone through custom Dunning groups that you can set up, I'm going to show you guys the default settings, and then I'll show you how to set up these groups. So I'm going to delete both of these so I can get back to our home page here when you first enable Dunning and Reminders. So you're going to see this pop up here. You can start with the default or you can start from scratch. I'm just going to select the start with default just to show you what these are going to look like. So you can see here what I was referring to earlier. The subscription payment methods are all set up. So one relies on credit cards, one relies on ACH, and the other one relies on invoice, which is any subscription without a payment method attached to it. These Dunning rules rely on triggering after an invoice date, which could be used, but I like using after the invoice is due to set up my Dunning rules instead. So I just kind of wanted to show you what these default settings look like before I moved on. I'm going to clear these dunning settings so I can start from scratch. Beautiful. So I'm going to create our dunning group. We're going to find the subscription payment method. We're going to do is, and then for the sake of the length of this video, I'm just going to choose credit card. I'm going to pretend that I only charge or only allow my customers to pay their invoices with credit cards. So I'm going to choose 1 day after the invoice is due. I'm going to attempt 100% of the payment. You can adjust this amount to however you want. You can choose alternative payment methods. If the customer has, 2 credit cards on file, you can always have it charge one if the other fails. And then you can have the option of sending emails. So if a retry payment succeeds, I can send them a payment receipt email. If it fails, I can send them a payment failed email. And if no payment could be attempted, I'm going to send them a invoice past due email. That's going to create your group and the first rule there. So to set up the other rules, I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm not going to set up my emails just for the sake of time here. I'm going to set up my 30-day. And I'm going to send an email at this point with a final due notice. You can select the preview button to see what your email templates are going to look like roughly. It's not going to show on my screen right now, but when you're running through this yourself, you can have the option to click that and then customize the email in your email personalization settings, which I will go over in just a second. I'm going to cancel the subscription on the 31st day. And I'm actually going to go back and I'm going to notify the customer that their subscription has been canceled. Okay, that's the first dunning group. Second dunning group with the custom field, I'm going to go here. My custom field should be listed underneath the object that they're referring to or under. And I'm just going to type nonprofit. And then for the dunning group name, I'm just going to call it. Oh. Well, I don't know what it's called, but we'll see in a second. So 2 days, I'm just going to send an email after the invoice is due. And I'm going to do an invoice past due email. Yep, that's fine. All right. Let's do 8 days after the invoice is due. We're going to send another email, the same thing. I'm being nice here. Invoice past due. At the 30-day mark, I'm going to send a final notice email. This is also a personalized email template that I created. And then at 31 days, I'm going to suspend the subscription. And I am going to notify them of this as well. Okay, so I got those 2 groups set up. Now I'm going to show you guys how to create a custom email template that you can use. And that way it'll show when you're choosing all those email templates. So I'm going to go off of a existing email template, default template that we have here. I'm going to select actions and then copy. When you scroll, you're going to see an invoice due copy here. You're going to select that. I'm going to call it final notice. And then this is when you can customize your email template. So I'm going to say you have an overdue invoice due, and then I'm going to send them this little snippet here or this notification. Please pay your invoice promptly. Account and subscription termination processes will take effect 24 hours from now. And then I'm going to save that email template. So I realize I have 2 final invoice templates or final notice templates already existing, but you should be able to see that now when I go and select one of my dunning rules to edit. As you can see, I have 2 final notice emails here now. So that's an option in case you have specific wording you want to use. with any of these dunning rules. I'm going to give you guys a reminder that any changes made to dunning rules will take effect on the next scheduled nightly event process. So if you're curious when that is, you can click your Need Help tab, click your system status, and you can see what time invoices will be generated. And then usually it'll show you, today, and then you can get a good idea of when they'll generate the next day. All right, I'm going to show you guys the report center really quick and how to check for overdue invoices not captured by dunning. So you're going to see 2 dunning reports that are going to be enabled in your account after you enable this feature. One's going to be not done invoices and one's going to be done invoices. You can use both of these reports to see either who you're missing or who you're dunning. So just kind of a helpful tip there. And then the last thing I'll say is if you need proof, dunning and reminders is going to be of value to your business. Try enabling it for a few weeks, then visit your report center and go to your recovered payments report. I think you'll be shocked at the data you find there after you let this feature work its magic. If you have any questions on dunning and reminders, please let us know and reach out to us. We would be happy to help you.